But yeah, David, so each week we're going to try to get together and just have open Q&A. Anything that you have questions about with Leyline, with operations, where we're going, what the roadmap looks like, we are 100% transparent. We're going to share everything we can, except for like social security numbers and stuff like that. The other thing is also just focusing in on, hey, this is how the product's evolving week by week, because we ship new features and bug fixes every single week. So you guys get to have this direct participation in, hey, this feature is broken, or this thing is like looking weird, or hey, I've got an idea for what you can do with a daily check-in. This is the venue for you guys to express, your ideas, and that could just turn into how we build a product. So it's really about empowering your community to really participate in building the sucker. So what I could do as well is kind of walk through some of the features that we have in place and kind of give a sense of, hey, this stuff is placeholder, this stuff is real. You can start to focus test on these areas. All right.
But yeah, just as far as like initial questions and like things that are going on, I've got a little information from Becca and from Justin, but just I guess initial things would be, like how I've looked at the website a little bit, but just kind of, like how it works in general and ways to like use it as efficiently as possible. I think Becca will sometimes like, let her computer run overnight in order to use, is it BOINC? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just really general information, I guess, for the time being.
You got it. All right, so we're gonna give you the grand tour, and yeah, start to poke holes, ask questions at any time. All right, so let me do the quick walkthrough, and then again, you could just kind of ask questions, etc. All right, so the focus of our testing is going to be with Leyline.gg. So I think at this point, everyone's probably got an account now and starting to run. But as a tester, we are looking to break everything. So just look at this thing and just figure out how to destroy it. Like that's what we want, because the more you break things, the more we can catch those bugs faster, and the faster we can iterate and fix them all and polish it up for the end users. So yeah, after login, some of the key features that we've put in place are obviously the volunteer computing, which is the most complex, but we're now starting to experiment with our daily check-ins. And we started first with the exercise check-in. And so the plan is basically it's to draw somebody back and then incentivize them to do something healthy for themselves, which is exercise. And so right now it's going to be all honor system. And so you might have already seen the button show up to basically say, just click this, and then boom, you can just get your 10 Leyline points for, saying that you exercise today, even if it's like 20 push-ups. Like that is a form of exercise, and we'll take it. So what we want to do is actually expand that to say, okay, if you end up hooking up and connecting one of your fitness devices, like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or a Strava, a lot of those products actually have public APIs. So we can actually connect that over to Leyline. And once you've validated, we'll double the points that you earn. So we kind of incentivize, like not just the honor system, but hey, if you make this real validation, real world data validation, we'll reward you for that. And we know you're not cheating. So that way we can actually see, oh shit, you actually exercised for 4 hours on this day. Let's give you 80 Leyline points. So that's the whole like building these like growing and compounding incentive models to just continue that good behavior. So right now you can see the approach is like we do very, very minimal stuff. We just like prove that it works. Like we could prove we could build a button. We could prove you could push it and get your Leyline points. And now that we've proven that and you guys are using it, we can start to put more and more functionality on top of it, provide descriptions, provide a reason why we're doing exercise check-in. So for example, if you go to the impact page, here, these cards can provide more information as to what this is, why it's important, how it all works. And so with exercise, it's awesome. I mean, you get physical health, you get your mental health, it increases your mood, it makes you more productive, more creative. It actually unlocks your prefrontal cortex and you're more intelligent, you're more empathic. So exercise is awesome. And if you want to make a better world, you got to start with like having happy and healthy humans. And that's going to enable people to start to help others. So you can see the focus here is not necessarily, hey, just only give stuff out, but rather invest in yourself. And by doing that, we'll just reward you. Like, it's awesome to do that. So here's a bunch of Leyline points and start getting some cash in your hands. So yes, we have all of our navigation and profile. And the first step is connecting your BOINC BOINC account in the app connection. So under your account profile, and then you go to settings, you can see the app connections over here. And so this is what I was referring to, that you see all of your projects, and it's just raw data. But yeah, we'll make that, we'll build the graphical interface soon, and then you could disconnect and reconnect. So if you have issues linking your accounts, this is definitely the way to go. And it's also, the BOINC manager is obviously like a UI from, the Middle Ages. So it's kind of not great to navigate around, but in case you have any issues trying to connect to certain projects, and making sure that the Leyline points are getting generated, you should just make sure that the account manager here is synchronized with Science United. Okay, so coming back to the core loop, so you can hook up your BOINC account here and start racking up points. You can also start to get your daily check-ins for exercise. And so we'll start to update this here in terms of providing more information. And then what we're going to do is actually have those stats in your profile. So now you can imagine, here, let me actually pull up a good. All right. So one thing you can do is, if you check out my screen here, so this here is a collection of all the different wireframes and user flows that we're building out. So as I was speaking about your profile, so what we can actually do is, now that we've got this data coming in for all those check-ins, we know generally the kind of exercise that you've done. And so now your profile starts to collect all these different stats around, hey, this is the progress that you made. Here's the number of hours that you spent donating to computing science. And hey, if a white paper got produced from that project, then that means that you've contributed to that and accelerated that white paper. And that should all just be on your public record, or on your record, and you could choose to publicize it to the rest of the network if you want to. So we want to give that kind of autonomy and flexibility for people to basically share what they want about the good things that they've done in the real world. So that's like the next part of the core loop, which is, okay, now that you're starting to do your contributions, these stats are now available for you to check out and get a sense of like, hey, I achieved something pretty awesome here. So yeah, that is the impact side. Then now that you're racking up Leyline points over here, you can now spend them on going on missions. So these missions are where you basically start to say, okay, I want to do this mission because if I get that mission completed, I can have these specific rewards. And this is the key. These digital items are going to be so valuable because they are the non-fungible tokens, and we are inserting key codes for Bitcoin gift cards, for Zydax coupon codes, for Amazon gift cards, whatever. Anything that gets donated from our sponsors is going to get into this prize pool, and we randomly generate them and randomly insert them into our digital items. So you're getting like both this really valuable digital item plus this real world value, like a coupon as well, or like a code. So yeah, we're going to end up having like a ton of missions here on this page. So the games pod is basically starting to build this pipeline of all the missions that you can go on, all of the assets and items you can get, and skins and avatars. So just keep on growing and growing. And so once you claim that, then it's going to end up in your profile and your inventory. So the wires and what that looks like here is, here you go, profile. So yeah, so in your profile, basically you're going to have your inventory. So you basically, the goal here is you're going to drag and drop items onto your avatar. So it kind of like dynamically swaps the image here. So you're going to have your unique expression of you based off the items that you've collected. And if you do not like your items, or you think it's valuable and you want to, like, trade it for some more Leyline points, that's what the marketplace is for. So in the marketplace is where we start to have peer-to-peer exchanges of items. Sorry, did somebody have a question or something to say? Okay, never mind.
I'm sorry, it was my, so I had some background noise, sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah, here is where you say, okay, I got this Zydax coupon and I got this like super cool green armor set that I don't want to use because I got some other cool stuff. So I'm going to post it up onto the marketplace, and other Leyline users could be like, whoa, someone's like selling their Zydax coupon. I want to buy a PC. So they're like, all right, I'll get this from you for like 500 Leyline points. So now it starts to create this marketplace and trading system that's going to be really key to our business model. So anyway, that's the core loop, is that we want you to donate to then have like this boost on your profile to go on the missions, get your items, and then deck out your avatar or sell it on a marketplace and trade it. All right, so questions.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How does the actual process from going from your computer to their server work in terms of the computing power?
Oh, I was just gonna ask. So what exactly is your question here? So you're asking how the computing power gets essentially transferred over into something of use for BOINC, or?
Oh yeah, for scientists and stuff like that.
Sure. So essentially, when BOINC in and of itself is kind of like a facilitator, in the sense that on its own, it wouldn't really do much. What BOINC does, though, is it serves as a housing for scientific projects. So for example, you've got different kinds of projects like Einstein at Home, Asteroids at Home, Rosetta at Home.
Right.
And what all of these projects do are essentially the work that the scientists want done for them. So when a scientist or when a group of researchers wants to do research in a particular area but doesn't have the computing power, they can still create sort of one of these at-home projects. And what it will do is it's going to essentially have a data bank of all the things that need to, be run, calculated, simulated, what have you not. And then when someone downloads the program, it says, there is a computer. So what it then does is once you download BOINC for the first time, it runs a program on your computer and it sees how much processing power it has. And because of that, it can then give your computer the best sort of projects for its size. So if there's a project that isn't particularly strenuous, and if you have a slightly sort of less highly powered PC, then you're going to be fitting that job. Whereas if you have like a GTX Titan Ti and you've got 32 gigs of RAM and what have you not, then you're going to be getting some of the beefier projects. And so your computer downloads those projects, calculates, runs them, essentially crunches all the numbers, and then sends those numbers back to the BOINC server and says, here are your results. And if you want to go into the nitty gritty, there's a second computer somewhere out there that's doing the exact same calculation that your computer is doing, and it also sends the results. And once the server receives both results and they're the same, it says, cool, this is good, thank you. That project or that specific calculation within that project at large is finished, and you get the next one. That's how it works.
That's awesome. Oh my god.
Thanks, Daniel. And you can even see here, like if you browse around in the BOINC client, there's some really cool statistics and data here. So you can even get a sense of, okay, depending on a project, the file size that they're sending over to you could be really tiny. It's just like a piece of data that you end up just crunching on the side. So it's not like you need this persistent internet connection all the time. So the data gets sent over to you, you process and crunch it, and you just send it back completed. So, some projects can have a bigger footprint and others have a very small one. So you see Rosetta at Home here is quite significant. And funny coincidence, this is the project that Daniel's family is participating in. So his dad is a director over at the Max Planck Institute of Astrophysics.
They sacrificed their firstborn to make this one work.
So yeah, it's cool to kind of check out BOINC. It is quite dense. It's certainly more for heavy tech and science people. But either way, our goal is to make it super simple, and then you don't even have to really worry browsing around here. Ideally, you're going to get all the information on Leyline. It's going to be really easy to understand, and we're going to get a lot of cool statistics as well. Go ahead, Daniel.
Jeremy, I just want to sort of give a bit more context or idea to what BOINC can actually do, because I feel like when you say scientific research and calculations and simulations, it's all very, very broad. It doesn't necessarily specify. So I just wanted to share with you so that you could know, for example, when you're seeing your computer run certain things, like, oh, cool, that's what it's doing. So one of the, I'll give you two examples. One of the probably most pertinent ones is Rosetta at Home. Rosetta at Home is what you will often see your computer working on if you chose something like fighting COVID-19, because what it does is it models proteins, and proteins are super important in our body because you can kind of imagine them like the keys that unlock and lock certain things within our bodies and allow processes to take place. They're the facilitators, they're kind of like the engines. And when we're trying to fight COVID-19, one of the best ways to do that is to disable the virus itself and the proteins that it uses to attach itself to our cells. And so when it does that, you need to figure out, what of the trillions of proteins that exist in the body are the correct ones to target for the COVID-19 proteins on the shell, on the membrane. And so that is like a huge calculation that needs to be run, because first you need to model every single one of those proteins, then you need to model them interacting, then you need to model what the result is. And that is so much computing power that it is better off just sending them to a bunch of individuals who then all run like a couple of those protein calculations, and then you get millions of returns back, and then you can pretty much map out all of the protein interactions within the entire body and understand down to the molecular structure why things work. That is one example. And the second one, and something my mom is an expert on, and we talk about a lot during dinner, she is a world-renowned expert on the roundness of stars. If you ever wondered how round a star was, she's the one to tell you. Specifically, like neutron stars, which are these super dense objects.
I love
neutron stars. And they spin so fast. They spin so fast. But essentially, these things aren't perfectly round, and you can actually measure just where the bumps on the surface of the star are, depending on its rotation and how fast it's going and the light it's emitting. But those are all calculations that need to be run by a computer. And so your computers are being bombarded with like millions of those calculations by millions of stars, all that we can see. And from there, we can then derive just how round that one neutron star is going to be. But that is just, I want to provide some actual examples of what your computer is really working on when it's doing this stuff.
That's an awesome example.
All right, cool. So yeah, it's great for us to kind of share the vision and the end goal for the product, because doing agile development is really like, think about like painting the Mona Lisa. Like the Mona Lisa wasn't just like you just printed the entire or painted the entire picture as is. You go layer by layer, and it kind of looks like janky and not complete or not there. But as you're working on that painting, it turns into a masterpiece over time. So what we want to do is like, let's visualize what is the masterpiece that we're trying to build here. And then iteratively, just like in tiny increments every single week, we deploy more and more features. And then over time, over the next 3 months, this thing's going to look totally different and badass and awesome and epic and super fun and super easy and super smooth. So that's the principle behind agile development. And the beauty of it is that you get this in front of your customers as quickly as possible, and they tell you if this thing is crap or not, or they give the ideas and say, hey, what if you try this? So for example, we just did a daily check-in yesterday, and already, it was 2 days ago, and already we've got like a ton of great ideas from you guys. So now we're going to start to implement it into our next sprint. And then so next Thursday, you're going to see already some big improvements to the daily check-in, and hopefully start to see some stats too. So that's the principle behind how we're using the alpha test and how valuable all of you are to this process. And so I hope that it's also kind of exciting, to be a part of all this and see how we do software development. So that's a bit of the overview. And as you're coming into Leyline, again, just to reinforce, getting you to click around and check out all like the funky stuff is going to be very helpful for us to know what's broken or what needs improvements. Any questions so far? I got other stuff to share too. All right, so you can take a preview here as well with all the different art concepts that we're working on. So the avatar and item system is going to be really crucial to creating that sense of identity and connectedness. And it's kind of this bridge between the virtual world and the real world. And the way we connect it is actually by building this economy of doing good things in the real world. And then you get rewarded, and it kind of just represents it in your digital identity. So we're concepting out a bunch of different skins and avatars that will be part of the mission loot drops. And so, yeah, we're going to kind of have some funky approaches here. We're trying to go for fantastical or sci-fi or steampunk. We're going to be testing out all these different art styles so we can kind of figure out, hey, this is the stuff, the direction we're going to land on. So again, could really use your feedback here. If there's something that kind of like stands out to you, it's like, oh man, it's so badass and, you know, wonderful. We can just go ahead and start implementing it. So that's a preview of the avatar system. We are also starting to design out the different items that you can receive. So here's a sample of the kind of pet that you can have on the side. Here's just like items you can equip. And so these are actually part of our stretch goals. So as we start to hit stretch goals on a fundraiser of like 50K, etc. Actually, I can show you. We have the stretch goals already on the GoFundMe page. But if we hit our donation milestones or share milestones or signups, that is going to start to unlock these different community awards for everybody. So it's very much like a Kickstarter style award system. So we start off first by, if we get 1,000 shares, we unlock the donkey stick. And then we keep on going. We get the Fabio horse stick, and let's see what we got here. Then it's going to go into the warhorse and then the unicorn. So then it becomes these randomly generated items that you can end up trading. And we were looking into ways like, hey, can we craft and combine these into like a mega item? Like all those things are really possible here. And so, yeah, we're just kind of like, going, trying to have some fun with what different items are. And we've got a bunch of brainstorming and a whole database of ideas. So if you guys want to see something cool, we would love to hear your input, and we can do some crazy fun stuff with it. What else is cool to show? Yeah, some of the backgrounds. So on your profile, we're going to try to create this virtual world and this theme. So we'll have actual backgrounds for your avatar to kind of be posed in with your items. And a good example of that is if you check out the World of Warcraft site, which is actually a site that my team built back in the day over at Blizzard. You can see here, it's like, here's your avatar, here's all the items and its stats. We could do a drag and drop, but then it's also existing within this background and this backdrop. So that could also be item drops that we have in place where it's like, hey, here's your castle backdrop, here's your, space backdrop, etc. So all kind of cool things to deck out like your identity and your virtual space. What else do we want to share here?
Oh, before we do, I also just wanted to say hello to Nick, who just joined.
Hey, Nick.
If you have any questions at all and you want to ask anything, feel free, especially regarding the Leyline process. We went through it earlier, but you weren't here to see it. So if anything wasn't clear since you joined, we're here to answer.
No, thank you. No, I just came to observe, see if there was anything. Thank you guys. This looks so fun so far.
Yeah, cool. And we also recorded the session too, so if you want to catch up in the first segment, you can always check it out. All right, cool. So yeah, what we'll do is we're actually going to post up some of our art and stuff. Like I created an Artist Alley channel here. So you can kind of browse through and see all the cool stuff that we're brainstorming on. But I'll make sure that during the Q&A sessions, we can have some of the team come out and do some showcases like, hey, here's the cool stuff that we're working on. And again, just try to get your feedback on all that stuff. So yeah, you can see here, we're starting to build this virtual world. And we're kind of going for this like design theme of, okay, in the front-facing site, we've got this kind of photorealistic view of Leyline connecting everybody together, and we've got this like hopeful vision of the world. But as you get into the Leyline ecosystem, you're kind of transported into this new fantastical world. So what is that bridge between the real world and a virtual world? And like the ley lines are kind of the pathway to teleport you in there. So we're kind of working on a narrative, so that way the style actually like has a flow to it, because it is like very different from what you see on this site versus what's going to happen after login. So yeah, we're trying to build that story and that world and narrative. And again, we could, happy to get your comments and feedback and ideas. I think this is probably going to end up being our mascot because she's super cool and she's got her pet and everything like that. So yeah, just some art to get you inspired and, oh yeah, this is our countdown timer. I forget for our unsubscribe, I think, emails. And yeah, we're going to do some fun stuff on a waiting list too. So keep an eye out.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Already? Yeah, I mean, is it already implemented?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think we got to get it over to Carissa to put into CRM.
Yeah, not yet, but that's really cool. I love it.
I love the game over.
Yeah, totally. Andrew is so
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start hogging Andre for like my personal. Like, if I want a dragon, I'm gonna start buying. I'm like, hey, it'd be a really cool item, dragons.
Hell yes, hell yeah. So yeah, you guys can pop into the GameSpot meeting because that's where they kind of like jam and brainstorm on these like crazy cool art stuff. So if you guys want to, be even just like listen in on a conversation because we have some fun conversations there. You're always welcome. This is an open knowledge project, so everybody gets to get a piece of that knowledge. All right, so yeah, that's some of the art that we're working on, and so yeah, the big focus is just making sure we get that core loop in place. So get yourself to donate, get your accounts connected, go on your mission, start to collect your digital items, see it on your profile and your inventory, and then start to sell it to other people, or you just open it up and you get to get your P code for a free game or a discount on Zydax PC hardware. So that is a bit of the tour for today. And we'd love to hear any more questions you might have.
Bex has one.
All right, Bex.
I was just asking, you were just talking about like with the development of like the characters, the backgrounds, everything like that, and how you can pop in those meetings. Do those meetings get posted anywhere for people that are on Discord that like want to keep up with how you guys are developing things?
Absolutely. All of this is going to be on Discord. Almost immediately after this meeting, I'm going to post it up. So by the way, we're going to be broadcasting all of our all hands meetings. So what we're going to do is actually have a musical performance at every beginning. So that way it's not just about learning about the company and ourselves and our gratitudes and our plans, but also like celebrating the fact that holy shit, humans can do some amazing stuff. And, music in particular, like, is this just exercise for your brain, and it just opens up this creativity and increases your mood. So I think we're going to start to bring on also guest musicians too. So we have like leyliners or leylights that have like incredible musical skill. But if you guys know anyone who wants to perform and do some amazing music, like just do a song, we would love to have them on the all hands meeting, and all that's going to be published to the public. So we end up like, having some cool entertaining videos as well as educational.
Jeremy, if you're interested, at the end of this meeting, if you want, I do have my acoustic guitar right here, and I've been learning Spanish flamenco, actually.
Wow, let's close it out. Let's close out the meeting with it.
Of course he has. Of course he has.
And by ear, too.
Yeah. Break it down. No, actually, Daniel, can you do video? Yeah.
Sure thing.
Yes.
Y'all don't believe me, do you? None of you believe me. That's the problem. This is the thing. No one. Hold on.
Receipts.
Yeah.
Let me get comfortable here. I need to find a spot where I can put down the camera. Can you see the guitar?
That's perfect. That totally works.
Does this work? Is this a good angle?
Yeah, we got the content for the foot fetish people.
That's right. I'm like these in here.
People will use Leyline points for that.
Behold our foot model.
Yeah.
I want to marry you, Daniel. I am having my kids marry your kids, no question.
We'll set up we'll set it up. I like it.
I
We'll
try
just
not to be
throw-
jealous of other people's talent, but you've got way too much for one person. It's just
How dare you?
Oh my!
How dare.
No
The
person
piano,
can
the
have too much
guitar.
talent.
the
Yeah.
Oh,
writing ability, the intellect, the good
Oh,
looks.
I don't know.
Look, bro.
Daniel, when we have our retreat and fly everybody out to our Airbnb castle, I'm gonna cut off parts of your hair and save it so I can clone you later on.
Oh,
Harvest your
no.
teeth.
You're lucky that I grow my hair very long. There's plenty to go around.
Fabio in his hair, for
It's
sure.
happening. It's happening, man.
Oh
love
no!
You know what?
Oh,
You guys laugh all you want. You're just stroking my ego at the end of the day. It's just gonna grow
Ooh.
further and further. So,
Oh,
I
Did I
mean,
tell you he's
obviously,
riding
I
a
get the
book?
last
Did I
laugh.
tell you?
No.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like in a month you're gonna be playing with your feet, man. Don't lie. We know how it goes.
Oh no!
You can have an OnlyFans of you playing guitar with your feet. It's gonna be
Oh, that's
amazing.
awesome.
You know what? With Daniel having all this talent, all we need is an illustrator, and then we can turn his feet into furry feet. There you go.
Two birds
so
with
good
one
at this
stone.
guy.
All right, put a quest up for
See,
Andrew.
this is marketing 101. This is gonna be great for Leyline. There you go.
By my feet.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's an in-game item.
Super rare.
As we spin wildly out of control. I love it. That's another
Boogie,
reason why I
Boogie,
love
you gotta
it.
get that into the item database. The Daniel furry feet.
Oh,
We
yes.
need that.
Yeah, we
We
totally
need
did
that.
that.
Well,
So-
we're
this-
actually going to be doing some personalized items for some of the staff members. That was part of the
This
plan.
can't be my contribution to Leyline, please. If all I did was contribute Daniel's feet, I cannot show my face
We'll call,
here
him,
ever
we'll call
again.
him Daniel's furry moccasins. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
That could be a
Lord
companion.
It's gonna be my
Christ.
first purchase.
Santo cielo, perché?
It's
If you
it's
think
a
I'm
hobby.
joking, I've already come up with stats in my mind.
I don't. I
It
don't
will
think
be
you're
on
joking.
Tuesday's
That's the
docket
thing.
for GamesPod. Already
So-
written down.
I asked.
Here's
I
the
asked
catch
for a
22.
wyvern. Silence.
Here's
Daniel
the
furry
here's the
feet,
catch.
Everyone just. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
What's the
no.
catch 22 here?
No, the catch 22 here is that if you buy Daniel's feet, you're actually donating food to a poor college kid somewhere in California.
That is true,
Oh.
man. Absolutely. Honestly, Andrew can whip up an RP super fast. Like we could get this in the mission next week if we wanted to. So
That'd
Boogie, yeah, push it, man.
I got
Push
it already.
You're gonna
I already
ship
know
it.
the model. Do you remember the slippers
I-
when you were a
I
kid
can-
that were bare feet? Like actual bare feet?
Yes. Well, thank you
All
so
right,
much.
guys. Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
This is awesome. And
it's
we'll
been
see you next week.
All
Enjoy
right.
the
See
weekend.
everybody.
Thank you,
next week.
Jeremy. Thank you, Daniel.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys.
See you, everyone.
It was great talking to you
Thanks.
guys. Bye bye.